When it was time for us to take the crew on a bow hunt for mule deer, the obvious choice for me was Southern Alberta. Southern Alberta has long been known for its absolutely phenomenal archery mule deer hunting.
Our right to keep and bear arms is a fundamental part of who we are as Americans, and so's our right to hunt. At the National Rifle Association, we're dedicated to protecting those fundamental rights. Whether in Congress, the state capitals, or the courts, we fight every day to make sure our freedoms are preserved for the next generation. This week, Team Magnum's James Brion and Gary Joseph get to exercise the rights we work so hard to protect. This is Nosler's Magnum TV.
When it was time for us to take the crew on a bow hunt for mule deer, the obvious choice for me was Southern Alberta. That's 81 yards there. It came down 100 yards out. No shot. Southern Alberta has long been known for its absolutely phenomenal archery mule deer hunting. However, in the foothills region on the west part of the province, there's a nice little secret that not too many people know about where you can really get some great stockable situations, and I know an outfitter there. His name is Tanner Wolgenbach, Centerfire Outfitters. Just got a brand new lodge, not even done yet. We get to test it out for him, break it in. I've always dreamed about hunting in country just like this. I mean, I honestly have just always wanted to kick off my boots and get in the rocks and try to get close to a mule deer. And finally, this trip was my chance to do that.
Well, that is a gorgeous buck, you're right. That thing is just tremendous. Man, how do you get on those things?
We'll have to make sure those other guys bed up.
And that's a challenge because, I mean, there's 13 bucks we got to navigate through.
And one was a slammer. It was a non-typical, heavy-horned beauty. And she said, this is a buck you're going to want to get a good look at. Let's go.
It's the 3-point.
Okay, so those other ones are probably on the other side. I don't think he's on to us. He just bedded there with his horn sticking out. They have a hard time hiding those 18-inch tall antlers out here in this grass.
So we got the wind in our favor, got on the backside of the mountain, and started our stalk on 13 bucks. It required a lot of belly crawling, a lot of stalking, a little bit of coaching from Megan, but pretty soon I found myself 50 yards away from 13 mule deer bucks. The yards don't come easy in this country. You work for every single one. The last thing Megan told me when she said go on in for the final is sit there and wait for the wind to die down so your arrow flight's good. And number two, she said don't shoot the big wide 4x4. If you shoot him, you're going to be disappointed because he's not very tall. So I lay there, I take a few breaths, and I'm just waiting for the wind to die down just a little bit. When I raised up to draw, I figured the deer would have seen me and start standing up. but they didn't. It's early in the season, it's the first day of the archery season, and I didn't realize these bucks are not wound very tight at this point. They're still in their summer slumber mode. So there I sat at full draw and waited for that buck to stand up. And guess who stood up first? Big old number 4 stood up right in front and blocked for that non-typical just perfectly. I had no shot.
Nosler's Magnum TV is brought to you by Nosler, Load Nosler, Own the Shots, and by Nikon, Dunham's High Caliber Ranch, Gobble and Grunt Outfitters, the NRA ILA, and Thompson Center Arms, America's master gunmaker. This portion of Nosler's Magnum TV is brought to you by Gobble and Grunt Outfitters.
To have an experience like that on the first day of your hunt, the first morning of your hunt, is just awesome. I mean, it just set the tone for the whole hunt. To stalk in 50 yards from 13 bucks and a couple really nice ones and one giant in the bunch, it was just like, okay, here we go. Southern Alberta, here we are, now let's go.
This is totally different hunting than back home in the East Coast and Northeast, where we hunt whitetails from tree stands, and this spot and stalk is a whole different animal. The terrain here is so big, so many places for these muleys to hide in. So it's a learning adventure as well as a great hunting adventure.
There they go, the front one's the biggest.
You can glass the terrain and you can come right back to it 10 minutes later, and all of a sudden out of nowhere a deer will appear. There's just so many crevices and little crooks and crannies that they hide in, and it's just so vast. It's huge, huge country.
Yeah, I'd say easy mid 160s. Height, everything's there.
Can we get a shot at him through that thick stuff?
That's the next thing. There's lots of factors involved to the success on that.
We got to within 30 yards, coyotes started yelping. It actually covered me getting in. There's just no wind at all right now.
Yeah, which is unusual.
Yeah.
Windiest part of Canada almost, and today when we want the wind, we don't have it.
So we gave it our best, and tomorrow's another day.
That's right.
And when that buck ran off, I thought, wow, I just blew my chance. But somewhere deep down inside, I knew with the amount of animals that they have here that we would get another chance. Most hunts that I've been on, you get a little discouraged, and on this hunt, there just was no low point. Constant action all the way through. Look at the mass on them horns.
Oh, look at that.
Look at the mass on them horns.
Oh, yes. Well, finally it paid off, didn't it?
That is a rack.
Look at that buck. Look at that. Look at that.
Look at all this junk in here, huh?
Oh man, that's awesome.
Wow.
That's cool. That's cool.
Good spot, man.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
stalk.
That was good. That worked good. We had lots of practice today though, didn't we?
He's just got mass in here. Persistence pays off. Here it is, right here. Beautiful mule deer.
This portion of Nosler's Magnum TV is brought to you by Dunham's High Caliber Ranch.
We're gonna start our day this morning with a little ground blind set up here, right along this water hole. They may come to water. It's supposed to be 90 today. Yeah, that's a great buck. That's just an awesome stud. That's a 180 for sure.
Of course, the objective is to get bow range from a big mule deer buck and somehow get an arrow in it. The strategy for doing that is to look great distances covered, just pick apart the country with the best optics you got and find a buck that you want to stalk.
Two bears, blonde one and a chocolate brown, 244 yards. We've absolutely been picking this country apart today with our glasses. We've seen 40 bucks, 2 black bears. Then you gotta pick your battles too. You don't wanna go chasing after every deer that you see. It's too big a country for that.
After that first windy day that we had with 40-knot winds, the wind just stopped and we had to totally change our strategy at this point. We got out our heat gear because it got up to 90 degrees and took off our boots and started walking on in our stocking feet just to get anywhere close to a buck. And what we found is, number one, they can even hear that. Those big ears will tell them that you're coming. And the other thing is, with no wind, you get swirling currents, and that's what we fought all week long. Busted stalk after busted stalk.
The wind switched on us. We have not been on a stalk yet that the wind didn't switch 180 degrees at least between when we left and when we got there. And these deer may not have winded us. The wind switching may have just caused them to go look for a different bedding spot, so we're just gonna back off of them, let them go, relax, and I'll bed down again. Geez, that front one is looking good. We're gonna go get above them in the rocks and see if there's a way where we can sneak down on top of them. They might ease up towards us, but I don't think they're gonna bust through here. Ease up. Ease up, they're all looking down. Figured they would pick their way up here and give us time to get in front of them when they went to feed. Coyote or something came up below and they all stood up and started looking down. Well, hopefully that's the low point of the hunt.
Stalking these bucks in the rocks is one thing, but when you catch these buggers out in the wide open and it's a buck you want to get on, sometimes you just say, all right, how can we do it? There's gotta be a way. What can we use? And the other night we found a buck. It was a big one, a big old heavy rack buck, and we wanted him bad. The only way we could get close for the shot was to use a fence for our only cover.
Beat us fair and square. We had the wind to our advantage.
We had a fence for a cover.
Yeah, the fence was good.
I don't know. It must have been just the sound, eh? It's just tinder dry and not enough wind to cover it.
Yeah.
This portion of Nosler's Magnum TV is brought to you by the Magnum Hunt Club.
For over 70 years, Brownells has proudly supported gun owners, the firearms industry, and the NRA. None of us should ever take our gun rights for granted. We must remain vigilant in our efforts to protect and enforce our Second Amendment. Here's an important message from Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris, fact number 235. Contrary to popular belief, America is not a democracy. It's a Chuck-tatorship.
I always get a kick out of those Chuckisms. But of course I can't decide alone how the country is run. If you're worried about the direction our country is going, you're in good company. Too many people have forgotten our nation was founded to protect freedom, like our Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. Freedom is not about what government can do for us, but about keeping government from doing things to us. There's only one way to protect our freedoms, by voting for the candidates who support them. I hope you won't be missing in action on Election Day. Register to vote. I'm Chuck Norris, and I approve this message.
For more information, go to triggerthevote.org.
After a week of frustrated, busted stalks, when we finally got close to those deer and we saw those tips peeking over the rock and we were close, I mean, it was like a feeling I've never felt. I mean, you didn't think it was going to happen, and all of a sudden, there we were.
Oh, stalk number 27 of the week. That's the way it's supposed to work.
After the shot, we hurried over to the edge of the rock so we could see where the buck went to and watch him go down. We thought. We went over and looked over the edge and saw all the other deer leaving the valley. So then we were sitting there saying, well, where did he go? We looked over the grass here and there, and we thought we covered everything, and he wasn't there. So you know how it goes. Every deer hunter knows, boy, when you make that shot, you know it's good, but then you start second guessing yourself. Lo and behold, the deer was floating out in the middle of the lake. That's unbelievable.
There's no question that's him.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, that might be deeper than I think.
Yeah, I think I'll be swimming.
No snapping turtles in this province?
Safe.
Woo! Lordy. This is wrong. Oh,
and that was definitely a retrieve that I'll never forget.
That's a good buck.
Got good forks.
Good forks. Good weight. Browse.
Mossy horn.
Yeah, he's a nice buck. Real nice buck.
Thanks for all your work this week.
And to actually go through all the frustrations involved in a spot and stalk mule deer hunt for 5 days and then have it all come together right at the end was just an absolute over-the-top experience for me. Perseverance and patience.
Right.
You just keep after it and pretty soon it comes together.
Yeah.
And it really did today.
In the end, a great shot.
and a recovery right smack in the middle of the lake. I wish I'd have seen him when he hit that water, because he had to be going a pretty good clip to end out in the middle.
Oh, well, I've never seen it before and probably will never see it again.
Yeah, I hope not. It was cold. Absolutely awesome mule deer hunting.
Great one to shoot.
Thanks,
good hunting
man.
with you.
It was nice hunting.
Yeah,
Hope we can do it again someday.
That's right.
When we exercise our rights as James and Gary did, we help protect them for future generations. I hope you'll be able to spend some time in the great outdoors and do the same. Until next time, I'm Chris Cox with the National Rifle Association, protecting our Second Amendment freedoms and hunting heritage.
Nosler's Magnum TV is brought to you by Brownells, the world's largest supplier of firearms, accessories, and gunsmithing tools, and by Nosler, Dunham's High Caliber Ranch, OutfittersRating.com, and the Magnum Hunt Club. Your adventure is our business. Closed captioning is brought to you by the NRA ILA.